everyone, this is Patlee again from the Renew Mindfulness Collective. So I promised that I was going to do a series of video posts on reclaiming the word resilience, or finding another word that would better serve as an encompassing description of what it is that I tend to talk about when I speak about resilience. So this is kind of coming from, a few things that I've been hearing from clients and from people that I know and so on, where there's this, this growing frustration with this expectation that we be resilient or that we have resilience. And so I kind of wanted to dive into that a little bit because I believe that psychological resilience, mental resilience it's particularly important, and I think that we need to have real and realistic conversations around it. And I also believe that when if push comes to shove, that is really what we have. We have nothing more than resilience. It's a word, but it has a particular meaning. So the first thing that I think is really worth sort of diving into is, what do we mean when we say, what do I mean when I say resilience? So I thought I'd kind of go into a little bit of an explanation. Hopefully it won't take too long, about the meaning of the word resilience when we talk about it from a psychological and psychosocial aspect. So my go-to definition of resilience comes from the American Psychological Association, particularly the way that they adapt the definition that comes from the Dictionary of Psychology. And I'm gonna see if I can read the definition here verbatim, because I tend to paraphrase things. So I'm gonna read the definition verbatim for you first before I try to explain why I think that this is a very useful definition that is worth recognizing as our starting point for talking about everything that has to do with that word resilience. So the American Psychological Association defines resilience as, quote, the process and outcome, so process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences, especially through mental, emotional, and behavioral flexibility and adjustment to external and internal demands. So there are a lot of things going on in that definition there, but the key words that I want you to hold on to for the moment are process, outcome, adapting, flexibility, and adjustment. All right. So this is part of the frustration when sometimes when people hear the word resilience, they think, oh yes, I have to adapt, I have to adjust, I need to be flexible, but at the same time, it can come across as you're saying to someone, your experience is not a valid experience. You need to just adapt, get on with it, move on, flow through it. And that's not what resilience is meant to convey. So I love this definition of recognizing resilience as the process and outcome of successfully adapting to difficult or challenging life experiences. It's a process, meaning that you go through several things, a lot of different things, a lot of ingredients are coming into the mix here. And chief among those ingredients are the ways in which we see and view and engage with the world around us, right? So the way that you look at the world, the way that you see the world, if you see the world as harmful, or if you see the world as helpful, if you see people as selfish versus if you see them as caring and kind. That is going to be part of the process of your resilience. The availability of resources, when you need help, can you get that help that will allow you to successfully adapt and navigate those difficult and challenging life experiences? Those are going to be part of your process of resilience. And then the same thing with your coping strategies. When you are feeling the lowest of lows or the highest of highs or the the pain and the hurt and the anger and the grief? Do you have coping strategies that will help you move through it? If you do, that is part of your process of resilience. So resilience is a process. So when we hurt, when we feel grief, when we feel loss, when we are facing some really turbulent and disruptive time, it's our processes that make us feel, be, or act in a resilient manner, right? So that's the process side. Then there's the outcome. The outcome, resilience is also an outcome. So it's an outcome of successfully adapting. But here's the kicker. You can't successfully adapt if you didn't have the process element, the process ingredients there to begin with. So when we think about people using the word, you need to be more resilient, or this is demonstrating your resilience, or we even talk about, particularly with Black and Afro-Caribbean history that is related to slavery and collective trauma and intergenerational trauma. When we talk about resilience within those communities, we're talking about the outcome of having those ingredients to begin with. The way that we view the world, the way that we engage with the world, the availability of resources and specific coping strategies. Now, when someone has low resilience, it's because they don't have those ingredients falling into place. When they have high resilience, it's because they do have those resources and ingredients that are falling into place. So I want us to just think about that for a minute, right? Um, it might be worth just really leaning into that definition of resilience that comes from psychological research which tends to focus on the resources and skills that are associated with positive adaptation in the face of difficult or challenging lived life experiences, right? That's what resilience is all about. Is there a positive adaptation that's happening? And many times that positive adaptation does not look like a gain from the outside if you're not the person going through it. That positive adaptation, sometimes when we talk about resilience, might be that someone might choose to leave a job. They might choose to leave an environment. They might choose to walk away from a relationship. And on the outset, that might not look like a positive adaptation. You're supposed to work through. You're supposed to be resilient. You're supposed to tough it out. No, that's not what resilience is. Resilience is, do you have the resources that you can lean on that can help you go through this process of adaptation and change and come out successfully on the other side? So I'm going to leave that there. My next, I'm going to leave that there. I don't even know what the next thing is going to touch on just yet, because these are just coming as I kind of go through this work for this client. But stay tuned. There's going to be at least another post to come on this idea of reclaiming resilience. So if you feel like resilience is the right word here, by all means, throw something in the comments. I'm more than happy to hear. I'm still looking for another word that I could use. But for now, resilience it is until, I hear otherwise. So if you can think of another word, do let me know. I would love to just explore that even a little bit further. Thank you so much. Walk good.